Hey everybody, Shannon here. If you are new to this channel, welcome. If you are not new, welcome back. Well, today God spoke to me this morning as I was getting up, and I felt this so strong that he wants us to ask him for the foresight, wisdom, and discernment to know how to prepare specifically for our own lives and our family's life, so that in our future, life is easier. In our future, we are positioned not to have an extra burden, so that some of the stressors that would be in our future will not be there. And so I want to break that down a little bit so you understand kind of where I'm coming from. So my friend who is from the Caribbean, Jolene, told me about how happy she was that her grandfather had the foresight to make sure that his children became American citizens. He was very insistent on making sure that his family became American citizens. And so she said, Shannon, I am so happy that my grandfather was thinking of this, because she said, if I were to have to try to do all this stuff now, she, of course, we're seeing what's going on with DACA and all the other stuff. And she would have had all of that stress on her to try to deal with all the paperwork and all the processes and all of this stuff going on now. And so her grandfather had the foresight to make decisions that made life easier for her family and gave them the flexibility to live, in the Caribbean country, or to come over to America and live. And so that's one example. The second example is actually something that my grandmother told me about my grandfather. My grandparents had property that they would rent. And before my grandfather passed, maybe a year or two before he passed, he kept telling my grandmother, I have to get this property paid off so that you and the girls are okay. Now, he passed, but he did not pass being an elderly man. And she would keep asking him, she was like, we have time, or, she would say, we have time. And he was like, no, I have to get this property paid off. I have to get it paid off so that you and the girls are okay. A couple of years later, he passed away. It was sudden. It was not expected, but he passed away. And because of his foresight in making sure that things were taken care of for his family, my grandmother did not have the financial burden that she would have had otherwise, as she was grieving and thinking about taking care of 4 young girls. So because of the foresight, wisdom that he had, that I really believe that God gave him, he really positioned my grandmother and ensured that she just didn't have that burden and that weight on her. And so there are some things that the Lord wants to tell us, each of us. And it might be about finances. It might be about certain areas of your life that have nothing to do with finances. It might be about family. It might be about relationships. It might be about your business. It might be about your profession. But whatever it is, I really sensed that he wants us to ask him. He wants us to position ourselves to hear what are those things that we need to do individually to prepare us to have a future that minimizes or alleviates altogether stressors that could be there otherwise. So I know some of you guys might be saying, well, you know what? I don't have to do all of this. If the Lord wants me to know something or do something, he'll tell me. But actually, the Bible tells us that the secrets he tells to his servants. He doesn't tell them to everybody, but he tells them to his servants. The Bible also tells us that we are to seek him diligently, because those who seek him will find him. And so if we want to know what the Lord has on his heart for us, we have to actively engage the Lord and seek him. The Lord is so good. And if you're familiar with the book of Proverbs, it's called the book of wisdom. And Proverbs 1:2 specifically tells us that we are to know, being skillful and godly in the wisdom and instruction of the Lord, to discern and comprehend the words of understanding and insight. And those words can only come from him. And so I really believe that this word is not just for me, but also for you to lean in, ask him. He wants to tell us. And I don't know what it is about this season. I found it very odd. I was like, well, God, you're always talking. But there must be some reason that he is saying, I need you to lean in. I need you to know so that you can be prepared and that you will not have to bear the brunt of the burden of that thing if you hear and know how to position yourself well. So I hope this blessed someone. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. And I hope that you guys have a great day. I will see you all on the next video. Bye.